Okay, hello. Today we are looking at IELTS Writing Task 2. And the question today is right here. Some people choose to eat no meat or fish. They believe that this is not only better for their own health, but also benefits the world as a whole. Discuss this view and give your own opinion. Okay, so discussing the view of vegetarianism, basically. All right, so as usual, we need to organize our introduction, our body paragraphs. We're going to have at least 2 and a conclusion. Okay, this is a very open question. Right? It just says discuss this view and give your own opinion. So with a short time limit, I'm going to see discuss this view and give your own opinion. I see 2 different questions. So what I'm going to start with is discuss the view, give my own opinion. Okay? So my introduction needs a hook or just a restatement of the question and a thesis statement. All right, more or less. Just saying what's going to happen in this. This is going to be, it's going to feel a little less formal because it's not really a persuasive essay, right? They're just asking for my opinion. So I don't need to convince anybody of anything necessarily, right? I just discuss the viewpoint, right? So what do I know about people who choose to eat no meat or fish, right? It's not only better for their own health. I can use parts from this to guide my answer because they're going to want me to talk about what they're talking about. So, okay, no meat or fish. They believe that this is not only better for their own health, but also benefits the world as a whole. All right, so the view is about better for own health and benefits the world as a whole. How, right? Less red meat, lower cholesterol, right? What else is better for your own health? More vegetables. Vegetables are healthy. We all know that. And how does it benefit the world as a whole? Well, personally I know about climate change, and cows produce methane gas, and that's bad. So eating less cows means there are less cows producing methane. How else does it benefit the world as a whole? Less suffering, I guess, right? Because a lot of people talk about being vegetarian because they don't want to hurt the animals. So there's a reason. And then my own opinion, this is kind of setting up easily for these people on these topics, me on these topics. So I can say my opinion about health, right? My opinion about benefiting the world. It's just 1 T, isn't it? Benefiting. Okay. So my own opinion about health is more vegetables is good and less red meat is good, but variation is always the best. So everything in moderation, that's another phrase that we do, right? And benefiting the world, I agree. But I think, industries need to make changes so that, vegetarians have it easier, right? Because it's really hard or it can be very expensive in parts of the world to be a vegetarian, so that's kind of what I'm saying, okay? So we have our basic outline, so let's start. So we're going to say introduction. We can restate the question. This is where practicing paraphrasing can really help. If you want to paraphrase, you know. Some people, a number of individuals. Avoid meat and fish in their diets. These people are called vegetarians. Right? Okay. All right. Hook. That's the hook, right? Many people argue over the positives and negatives of this lifestyle. All right, and then we need to have our thesis statement. Our thesis statement is going to say, this is what this essay is going to talk about, and this is my opinion or view. Of course, I'm going to be giving my own view in the second paragraph, so I can basically just say, you know, these people are called vegetarians. Many people argue over the positives and negatives of this lifestyle. Whether discussing the personal health benefits or detriments. That's the opposite of a benefit, something that hurts you, a detriment. Whether discussing the personal health benefits or detriments, or talking about the effects on the world as a whole. Or, you know, if you want to put it in a way differently than the question stated, you can just flip it around on the whole world. We're talking about the effects on the whole world. There are a lot of varying opinions in the following paragraphs. I will discuss the arguments made by vegetarians and how I agree, and to what extent, maybe, to what extent I agree or disagree with those positions. Okay, so I'm gonna confess I'm not really comfortable with this question. It's so open. It's hard to write an introduction that has substance, that doesn't give away a lot of, you know, what I'm talking about. If I had more time, I would revise this and change it, but it's gonna work for what we need. So I'm gonna start with a topic sentence for discussing the view that vegetarians have. All right. So for vegetarians, the issue is a simple one. This doesn't have any substance. The decision to omit, to not include, to exclude, to omit. The decision to omit meat and fish from their meals is a logical one based in topics of health for themselves and the entire world. Entire is another word for complete or whole. All right. So we could say when it comes to their personal health, they can point to the unhealthy, talking about red meat, the unhealthy qualities of red meats like beef and pork as a good reason for their lifestyle, whatever. Okay. Yeah, eating less red meat is said to, I don't have any sources, right, because it's an independent, so I can just say, people say this, right? Eating less red meat is said to lower unhealthy cholesterol levels in the blood. To make it very clear that I know what cholesterol is. It's the stuff that's in the blood. If you have a lot of it, it's bad. So, and then I can move on to more vegetables, you know. Furthermore, the vegetarians. And there are generally, with papers, there are going to be certain words that are really, you know, essential and very necessary to the discussion of this topic. And it's okay to repeat these, right? I've said vegetarians 3 times now. That's fine. I need to identify this group of people. So if I just keep saying people who don't eat meat or fish, people, you know, how many ways are there to say vegetarian? There's just not that many. Non-meat eaters, you know, you can throw those in there if you need to, but your organization and other vocabulary, you know, moments are going to give you just as good of a score. So anyways, furthermore, the vegetarians are more likely to eat you know, greater amounts of vegetables, and everybody knows that vegetables are healthy. I could change this if I feel like I just said vegetables, you know, but oops. Greens. You can say vegetables are greens. Greens are good for you, I might say. It kind of sounds nice. Okay. All right. And then I'll say, you know, on the topic of the well-being, that's another way of saying the health, the well-being of the rest of the world, vegetarians have a very strong argument regarding climate change and, you know, the meat industry role in it. Okay, so on the topic of well-being and the well-being of the rest of the world, vegetarians have a very strong argument regarding climate change and the meat industry's role in it. Right? I need to finish. There are too many cows in the world, and their you know, their waste produces methane gas that causes problems for the atmosphere. results in global warming. All right. You know, for this reasons. You know, being vegetarian is a convincing stance for those who wish to help improve the state of the world. That's a really long paragraph. Now I can go on to my next one. So now I can say, you know, for the most part, my own opinion is in keeping with that of many vegetarians. All right. I'm just saying, for the most part, I agree, and then I'm just going to delve into why. You know, I believe that eating less red meat and more vegetables is a generally good idea. However, more than anything, I believe that variation is always the, instead of best, I could say the optimal choice, as many people say. Everything in moderation. Period before the closing quotation mark. You always want to do that. Okay? Everything in moderation, right? You know, additionally, I don't think I said additionally yet. Additionally, I think, or I feel, that a vegetarian lifestyle does, well, I think that a vegetarian undoubtedly improves the state of the world, but I also think that industries need to make changes so that vegetarians have an easier path to achieving their lifestyle goals. Now I need to explain this, because this is not enough, right? I need to say why, for example, right? You know, for example, in my home country, vegetables and fruits are far more expensive than non-vegetarian options. One way or another, prices on vegetarian options need to come down, and that responsibility lies with the food industries around the world. Okay? So, you know. And then we conclude, just summarizing what we basically have already said right now. You know, we can say, you know, the choice to not eat fish or meat is one that is taken by more and more people with each passing year. Okay, you know, this is for good reason, as the personal health benefits are many, and the advantages for the entire planet Earth. Earth is always, when it's a name, the name of the planet Earth, we capitalize it. If we're talking about Earth that we pick up from the ground, we don't capitalize it, okay? So this is a good reason, as the personal health benefits are many and the advantages for the entire planet Earth are also apparent. A nice way to say that is readily apparent. Like, it's easy to see. It's easy to see. It is readily apparent. That's a more fancy way to say it. Okay. In my own personal life, however, I find that simply decreasing the amount of fish and meat that I consume is sufficient for me. In the meantime, I will wait for more budget-friendly vegetarian options to become available to the public. And I think that's about it. We'll say we're finished with that. So we have an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. We have 457 words, so we're over the limit. Just remember, you can get really confused and it can get really hard to handle the organization, making sure that you're always, giving a topic sentence, and then, evidence, and then analysis and all of this. You can, if you get too fancy with it, you can kind of forget to fill up the text, which is most important. And I feel that for that, the easiest way to do that is to tell a story. Find an opportunity to tell a story, because when you tell stories, it's really easy to add an extra sentence or two to give extra little details, as long as they're relevant to what we're being discussed. So that's my recommendation for today. Try to find personal stories or something you can explain with an extra sentence or two here or there. That can really help your length. So anyways, that's the essay for today. Thanks for watching.